And we are live. So, welcome to the Professional Women's Meetup podcast, where we dive into the stories of successful women who are making their mark in the professional world. I'm your host, Christine Fernandez, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with the multi talented Jasmine Daya. She is a lawyer, entrepreneur, author, and podcast host. Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me, and thank you for that nice introduction.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Jasmine, you are a woman of many talents, running a law firm, owning popular Toronto hotspots like Pravda Vodka Bar and Bar 244, and even authoring books and hosting your own podcast. Tell me, what drives your passion for such diverse pursuits?
Well, I love everything I'm working on. When an idea comes to me, I just want to seize upon it and take it to new heights, wherever that will take me. One of the most exciting parts of being an entrepreneur is that you just don't know what's going to come next. And they ask me all the time, especially given the time of year right now, it's New Year. So everyone's like, well, what's the plan for the year? I'm like, I have no idea. It's just that things come to me and then I'm inspired to take them on. But I think my love of life and everything I'm doing and my positive outlook, and I've been told I have a lot of energy. I don't know any different, but I think all of that combined creates me and my drive for everything I work on.
That's truly inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, let's talk about networking. You've been such a fantastic supporter of the Professional Women's Meetup. And in 2023, you've taken a step further by hosting our monthly mixers at Pravda Vodka Bar. What made you decide to open your doors to our community?
I am a huge proponent of helping women and supporting women in any way that I can. I feel that unfortunately the pandemic really impacted everyone, but more so women, because I have three children too. And so, as a mother and as one who has a career, and not just one, but I think a few different things going on in terms of work, you're always juggling. And I think that during pandemic, although my husband was helpful, you know, I took on the role of trying to make sure everyone had their meals and trying to make sure the house was clean and trying to make sure my work got done and trying to make sure he was okay. And you just took on all these roles. And then at times, my work, I felt at times took more of a back seat than maybe his did. So we had a schedule split that he couldn't deal with the kids and their online learning. He would just yell at them, and then I would yell at him, and then it would just be terrible. So he said he'd go to the office for a few hours in the morning. I'd stay home with them. And then he'd come in the afternoon, and then I would go to the office. But when you're the only one in the office, by the afternoon, you don't really want to do very much, or you're sitting in the building by yourself. And then I wanted to come home to make dinner with my family. And he's like, you could stay later. I'm like, no, but I can't. Who's going to cook dinner? And I don't really want to be there by myself. Anyway, I just felt that I was not doing as much as I used to be doing because of these other responsibilities that all of us had. And now, fast forward, I don't know if this is still a pandemic or not, whatever this phase is we're in, we haven't returned to being in the office. We haven't returned to all the social events that we used to. I used to go to court reporters' offices, to court proceedings, to after work drinks, to wherever. And I was always with people. And that's a form of networking. When you're connecting with people, you're top of mind. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know where that meeting will take you. But unfortunately, we just don't have all those opportunities open to us like we used to. And I don't see it coming back anytime soon because this hybrid model, and some people are more comfortable at home, and a whole bunch of reasons. But that's one of the reasons why I think that what you're doing in hosting these mixers is so important, because while at times a lot of us feel like, oh, this event, we've got it in our calendar, we're excited. And then the day comes and you're like, I'm tired, my kid, my work, this is due, whatever. And you're kind of like, I don't know if I want to go. But if you take the opportunity upon yourself, you actually make it there. And I'm of the opinion that I've made a commitment. I'm not going to break it, because if you don't go, you're not going to be invited again. People look at you. So you want to use every opportunity possible. But while it may be a little painful and you might be a little lazy in the moment, once you get there, you'll feel so good. You'll feel so good about the people you've met. And when you leave, you're going to be so happy that you actually made it out. Because those connections, as I said, you just don't know where they will take you. And so I'm proud to support your organization and very happy to host your event.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful, Jasmine. How do you see these mixers benefiting the women who attend? I know you kind of touched on that, but in general sense, how do you see that benefiting the women?
Well, I think it benefits in more than one way. I mean, first and foremost, you're meeting people that you wouldn't otherwise meet, and you never know where those connections will take you. So that is, the prime importance here. But I think also just socializing, getting out, meeting new people. I feel renewed energy when I socialize. A lot of people ask me, you go out with your friends all the time. How are you doing all this work? If I don't go out with my friends all the time, I'm not able to do my work because my head needs a rest and I need to have fun too. And it needs to all have purpose. If all I'm doing is working all the time, then it's like, what's the point of life? There's no fun time. There's no me time. And so I think it's important to balance. And, we hear about work-life balance all the time. And I don't really like that catchphrase because when I was in school, I used to think of like, the scales of justice, like this much work, this much play. And that's just not how it is. You might, have days where you're working way more than having fun. And then there might be days where you don't do very much work. So it's not really an even balance like that. But I think that you do need to take time to do whatever it is you want to do. Go watch a movie with your girlfriends or take your kids out or go on date night, do something that's fun. And then you have this renewed energy for whatever it is you're working on.
Absolutely. It's all about creating those strong connections. Now, you're also known for your culinary schools and your cookbooks. So, or skills, not schools. How do you think food and drink play a role in networking and building relationships? I know you have those really awesome martinis at Pravda that the ladies have been loving.
Good. Just know they're very strong. So you need to sip slowly, especially if you're at a professional event. So I don't know. Food to me, I think I have an Indian background, and food is part of our culture. That's how you show love for someone when you cook a meal. That's why anytime you go to someone's home that's an Indian background and some other ethnic backgrounds too, they're always offering you food because that's how they show care and passion and love. And for me, not only do I feel that way when I cook for people, but I also feel that when I'm with people, it's sort of, you're not just standing there awkwardly talking to someone. You're having a conversation over a meal. There's something more social about it. And then on top of that, for me, I love trying new recipes, sipping on a glass of wine on Sunday. That's one of my fun things to do. So, it all comes together. It's important in so many ways. The cookbooks in particular, I have an Indian cookbook series called JD in the Kitchen. I published 3 cookbooks. There's 3 more that have been in draft for the last couple of years, and I just have not had a chance to finalize them because of all these other things I'm working on. But it was a passion project that I did with my mother. And so we started putting these recipes together. They're family recipes from generations past, and they were so fun to collaborate on. That's time with my mom that I wouldn't have had. And we're, while you're waiting for things to cook over the pot, you're gossiping about, what my cousin did last week, or did you see what she was wearing? So we had a lot of fun, doing this project. And then when we saw the end result, it was an amazing feeling.
I love it. And I couldn't agree more. So before we wrap up here, do you have any networking tips for our listeners, especially those who might be new to the scene?
Carpe diem, seize the day. Don't be fearful. I think that a lot of people, including, people, my own kids, I'm telling them the same advice, actually. I used to tell myself this advice, which is, you may feel a little uncomfortable if you are going into something where you don't know anyone, but remember that everyone is in the same boat as you. Nobody knows anyone. We're all walking into this, whether it's a new classroom, whether it's a new workplace, whether it's an event. You're walking into a place not knowing anyone, and neither do they. So you're all in the same boat. And there's nothing stopping you from going up and introducing yourself. Some people are a little bit shy or reserved, but understand that those people may be shy and reserved too. And you're not going to make those connections if you don't put yourself out there. And some people are worried about the reception you might get from those people. Well, if they're not receptive to you, then you don't need to know them anyway. So I think there's, no harm in putting yourself out there and seeing where it will take you, because the worst part is not taking that chance and not letting it take you anywhere.
Yes. Yes. And as they say, your vibe attracts your tribe.
True. Very true. I agree with you.
And it's okay. Like, not everybody's going to like you, and that's fine.
Well, sometimes it can be annoying, but yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it can be annoying. But you get better at it as you practice, as you keep.
And also you may just meet someone and maybe you don't have a lot in common or a lot to chat about, but you've met them and that's fine. You can move on to someone else and they'll move on to someone else, but there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be best friends with everyone. Networking and meeting a professional network is not, it's not that you have to be best friends with everyone. You may not, but you can collaborate on projects, or you can have cross referrals in business, or you can ask each other advice in a professional realm. I think that there's different forms of relationships you can forge with individuals that you meet. And it doesn't have to be that you have everything in common and you're best friends and you just stay with them the whole time at this event. Actually, that's not what you want to do, because then you're not meeting everyone else in the room.
Yes. It's separating friendship from business. There's a big difference in that.
And hopefully over time, your business acquaintances will become your friends. But initially, it's okay if they're not.
Yes. And they say the best friends come in as clients first, right? Because you just connect on that level first, and then the friendship blooms from there.
I agree. I mean, the people that I work with, even for my bars, like the suppliers, the vendors, all these people, even the people at LCBO, they know me quite well because I'm like, last minute, we need a case of tequila. So, we forge relationships because I'm with them more than I'm with my own family. And so over time, you get to know each other and you develop a relationship and you joke. And, that's how I enjoy my work. My work is more about my lifestyle. It just is a way of life. Like, I'm always working, but I'm enjoying what I do and living life.
I know. And you were just on some really amazing vacation right now. It just, wow, stunning.
Turks and Caicos. I highly recommend it. It was absolutely gorgeous. The water was just this blue that, oh my God, you see it and it just invigorates you to, I don't know, refresh, relax, all that, all the R's, all the good R's. It was beautiful. The food was delicious at all the restaurants we went to, and the people were so friendly. It also was not as expensive as Nassau, at least from what I saw. So some advice, check it out.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. This was so inspiring to hear you speak today. And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us today. And I really appreciate everything you did for us in 2023. There's so many of us here who are listening that have attended one of these mixer events at Pravda. And I'm just so ever grateful and thankful for all that you've done for us professional women here at Professional Women's Meetup.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. And I look forward to chatting with more of you. And if anyone, needs a place to host an event, let me know. We're going to make it happen.
Oh, yes. And Jasmine, you're so easy to work with. So thank you so much for everything again. And we'll see you. We'll be back at Pravda this year for sure. So stay tuned for that.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, Jasmine.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.